welcome back to another episode of Author Interviews with Jazz and Prose. I'm your host, Sai, and today we're here with the lovely MJ Mays for her book, Erotic Sapiosexual, Suppressed Desires of a Woman. How are you doing today, MJ Mays?
I am wonderful. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm well. It's a Monday. But it's a good Monday. So I'm glad you're here stopping by. I haven't done an interview in about a week, so I love doing these. It's actually very relaxing and calming to chat with fellow authors. So I can't complain. So, and where are you calling from?
I am actually calling from Dallas, Texas.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm in Houston, so we're close.
Nice. Okay. Very
Yeah,
close.
yeah. So, okay, so we're going to start with the title, not the title, sorry, the cover of the book. I love to start with covers because I do think that they are controversial when people say, oh, the people judge a book by its cover, that kind of thing. But I also love artwork. So tell us how you came up with the cover for Erotic Sapiosexual.
So the cover of the book is a concept of um that the heat represents that desire that we have in us for whatever we may want in our relationships, from something that's mentally stimulating, spiritually, physically stimulating, whatever your desire is. It's just that burning that is just sitting in you, and you don't know what it is, but you feel it, and you don't
Mhm.
know how to feed it. And the cold part of it is that I'm with a partner that I may have expressed my desires to, whatever those are. And those desires could also be my desire to start a business, my desire to go back to school. That desire can
Mhm.
be anything. And I've expressed that to my partner, but yet in conversation, when we begin to speak about it and the two
Mhm.
come together, we kind of, that's where that heart, we have that love for each other, which is the heart that's in the middle of that. But my desire and your need, or your desire to support where I am and where I am growing and have a desire to grow to, kind of, they almost kind of cancel each other out. So we're at an impasse. So how do you communicate that through picture? And for me, that was the perfect way of saying, that love is still there, but there's a disconnect.
Okay, I like that. I love when there are deep meanings behind the covers, guys. It's kind of like people get tattoos and be like, okay, what's the story behind it? So I love that. I think it definitely speaks to what you just described. So yes. Um, so before we get into what your book is about, and this is the genre of poetry. This is a poetry book, right?
That is correct. It is.
Okay, great. So, before we get into that, tell us a little bit about how you started your writing journey and career.
So my writing actually started back in high school. Um, and okay, so dating myself just a little bit. Um, It was back in the day when they actually used to teach us how to type at a typewriter.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
and sitting there, we had a little bit of downtime. And in that moment, it's the formative years, right? And we're all experiencing these different feelings with these, our boyfriends at the time, or, our high school crushes, or things of that nature. And in
Mhm.
that moment, I just had this rush of emotion, and I started just typing everything that was coming to me in that moment until it all just came out. And from that moment on, I think I was like about 15. From that
Mhm.
moment on, I've been writing ever since.
Okay. I like that because it's a mix of the introduction to technology as well as
Absolutely.
as well as expressing yourself that way. So that's awesome. I love that. Okay. That's awesome. And if you guys know, I'm in school, grad school, to be a technology leader in the education system. So anything with tech and writing, that's just like right up. That's my niche. That's my two loves, technology and then writing. Um, so let's get into your book, Erotic Sapiosexual. Tell the readers and listeners out there what your book is about.
So the book is a journey. It's a journey of love. From the first time you meet someone, those feelings that you have, and it comes from both sides. What she's feeling, what he's feeling. You kind of get a moment of um, just from a third party's perspective, what it was like. And it draws you in to that moment where you can actually feel yourself being there and feeling those feelings. So it goes from when they're first meeting and feeling like I never thought I would meet someone like you. For so long, for
Mhm.
me, I just thought that love was not an option. And so watching this woman go through this journey of feeling like I would never find this, and now here it is. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. To going from that to growing in that relationship. And now she's desiring more. Not only does she desire more, but she desires to give him more. But at the same token, it requires him to want more and to also give more. And not just in a physical aspect. She's needing more emotionally. She's needing more spiritually because she's growing. And in
Mhm.
this growth, there's a period where she gets frustrated. And so there is a segment where she's talking about being frustrated with the relationship, only to find out as she moves through this season of being frustrated, she starts to discover who she is and whose she is. And it gets
Okay, I
deep
love that.
because now it's like it wasn't really about just loving a person, it was about loving me and understanding who really loves me and how he loves me. Because of how he loves me, that's the kind of love that I need, not just any kind of love. So, was I really in love or was that any kind of love? Now she has to have that journey and that level of discovery with herself to understand what she actually needs for herself. What does she truly define as love? And the only way for her to understand that is not just self love, but also understanding the one that created her. And he created her in love, for love, to be love, and to give love.
I love that. And I mean, just listening to you guys, listening to you, and I'm talking to the audience, it just sounds like poetry. Because at one part, I thought you had started reading the book, and I was like, wait, oh no, she still. So you speak very, very eloquently poetic. I love that. This sounds like a book that will be great for people who are on a healing journey in relation to self love and self care. Um, and that's very relevant to today and what we're experiencing in the drought. I think I relate to it as a drought. Um, in the dating world right now, I think, men and women are just not on the same page. Um, and it could be with you talked about wanting more and just, it's a lot that goes into that, but I think the only way out is through, and it's going to take for people to really look within. And then I
Absolutely.
think, yeah, and then I think, we'll get over this drought once people are honest with themselves. So yeah, I love that. um so when you were writing this, did you find any part to be challenging, whether it be emotionally, like say okay, I'm at this part of the book and it's hard for me to express this because it's bringing up some stuff, or it's just, or maybe because it's poetry, structuring your poem or things like that, figurative language.
Um, I didn't find. structuring it to be a challenge or an issue for me, it
Mhm.
was the actual writing. Because in writing it, you can relate to a lot of things that are saying, because that's in the book.
Mhm.
Because at some point in time, we all have been there. And if we have not been there, like mama and grandmama used to say, keep on living, you'll get there. And so
Yeah.
a lot of us, if we have not, then we will experience those things. So there were a couple of poems towards the end of the book. After I had written them, I couldn't read them without breaking down. I couldn't get past the third line. It was just
Yeah.
chills, just absolute chills. Because in that moment, I was like, I just came from this place. So it just
Mhm.
felt so real for me.
Mhm.
And then I actually had an opportunity to perform one of the pieces that was there that, I struggled to like be
Mhm.
able to just read it back just
Yeah.
for proofing purposes, right?
Mhm.
And the night that I performed it, I had a couple of young ladies come up to me and say, "You are all in my business, and I don't even know you, but everything about what you just said, I'm in that. I'm in
Yeah.
that." One was like, "I'm at the beginning of that, and I'm hoping to get to the middle, to the end, but I felt
Mhm.
every single thing that you said." And in that moment, it was like, "Oh my God, you again, we are all either coming out of it, we're in the middle of it, or we are on
Mhm.
our way into it." And
Yeah.
so to have been able to write these poems and put them in this particular order, I'm going to tell you up front, because this was all God. This wasn't me.
Mhm.
This is all his handiwork. And so I give him the
Yeah.
credit and the glory for all of this,
Yeah.
because without him birthing this in me and giving me um, the words and the power behind the words to put it all together,
Mhm.
it just wouldn't be. And a lot of it wouldn't land the way it lands when a lot of people when they do read it. And so I'm just thankful for that. But that was the biggest challenge for me. It's just stepping
Yeah.
back and reading um, a couple of the pieces towards the end, when it comes
Mhm.
into really discovering who you are and whose you are. Those pieces were very powerful for me.
Mm, mm, mm. I love that. And I think that is, such a goal, as a writer is really how do I convey these emotions to really connect with my reader? So to have those two young ladies come up to you, it sounds like you nailed it. You did it. So kudos to you. Um, what about a favorite poem? Like, do you have a favorite one that you're just like, oh my God, I love this poem so much?
Oh gosh. I can't say that there is just one. I can tell you
Right.
it depends. It really depends on the mood of the day.
Mhm,
The mood
mhm.
of the
I get
day
it.
really, really, dictates it. I
Mhm.
am always blown away by some of the pieces that I've had people to comment on. I'm going, wow, really? Let me go back and read that.
Yeah.
Oh, so some things some people do bring up that makes me think and wonder and go, okay, I didn't. Oh wow. Okay, now I see that. So it gives me a minute to step back and process and think about it from a different person's point of view with the feedback. And
Mhm.
through it all, gosh, if I just had to name one, um, guess my favorite one out of the whole thing. Well, oh, don't say whole thing, Monica. The whole thing would be Phoenix.
Phoenix. Okay. All right. And why so? Why did that one gravitate towards you for your answer?
Phoenix was is like a rebirth. That
Okay.
was me acknowledging the gifts that he has given me, because it was always something that was in me that really wanted to get out. It was something that was in me that was just really, it was dying to be free. And
Hmm.
I couldn't hold it back any longer. And so with that, that was the piece that I just couldn't like read without writing. And
Hmm.
that gave me the freedom to walk into the next version of myself.
I love that. I love that. And that takes courage because there's a lot of people who just settle and they don't, you know, unleash what is burning like you have on the cover, and they, but I think there's more to life. And I think it does take courage to live the life that is calling to you. So I love that. Um, Now here we're gonna have you. Are you ready to read one of your poems or an excerpt of your poem?
I am ready.
Okay, so we'll enjoy this treat.
I am ready. So this one is called Good Girl. I never thought a good girl could exist, so I crossed it off my list. My mind never conceived or believed in you, a good girl, would I receive. Never thinking I would miss one of God's most precious gifts. For Him to think solely of me and in you provide my every need. You are my very heart's desire. Because of you, I aspire to be the best that I can be, walking in God's image of what a man should really be. As you can see, I use three B's to identify with the Trinity, that of which has led me to see He saved the last good girl just for me.
Oh wow. Wow. We got a snap on that, guys. I love that. Okay. And was that from a male's point of view, what you were reading?
Yes.
Or okay, okay. Okay. I love that. Wow. Was it difficult writing from a male's point of view? Or
So funny, it's not.
okay.
And so a lot of my girlfriends find that to be hilarious. And a lot of, my homeboys think, wow, that's deep. You putting all the business out there. So
Hmm.
you kind of get both sides of it, but I think it's really necessary to tap
Hmm.
into both sides of the coin. That
Yeah.
way, when you are reading it, you're getting a woman's perspective because again, we're all wired differently, and you're able to get the
Hmm.
man's perspective. When you start saying, I feel, we don't understand how you feel. We can't
Hmm.
measure that. We don't know what to do with that. I mean, do
Right.
you want us to build that? Do you want us to put some on the top shelf for you? Like, we don't understand that.
Yeah.
But when you put it in simpler terms that translate where it's not too emotional, but it's just
Hmm.
emotional enough for her to understand where you are. And it also allows them to be free with being able to see something and say, okay, this is it. This says exactly what I want to say without me actually saying it, but at the
Right.
same time, not really knowing the words to use. So we're able to connect on both sides. And that's also the beauty of that book. You get both perspectives throughout the entire book. So you just don't see just this woman speaking to you continuously. You get to see how he's receiving the things that you're saying and how he's adapting to what you're saying. And so that's the beauty of it. And so I'm really just blessed to be able to tap into that side of how men kind of think and how they
Hmm.
kind of feel and be open to it. That's the big thing is to be open to what they're saying because what they say does have emotion tied to it. It is just not presented the way we present how we feel.
Right.
So it translates it for them.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And there, in when you're in a relationship with another person, there's compromise has to be there. You have, because you're not just with yourself, you're with another person. So there's always that dance of going back and forth, of trying to be understood and making sure it's effort, it's work. Okay. So I love that you have both sides to um the tale of love because that's important.
Which kind of
Yeah.
brings you back to the cover. Every time it keeps bringing
Hmm.
you back to, and it doesn't matter like who is the fire and who's the ice, but that emotional dance is
Yeah.
what those hands represent.
Yes. 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 I love that. I love that. When it came to writing this book, what was your process like? Did you, so when I say process, like, I know some people, I guess I should maybe say method. Um, when you wrote it, did you use your phone? Do you have a pen and paper, your computer?
Oh gosh, I use a lot of things. So
Hmm.
um, it depends on when that creativity moment sparks. I have a small recorder that I keep with me because
Okay.
sometimes I can't text. So I'll go ahead and I'll just start to just verbally just speak everything until it comes out. Then I'll go back and I'll type it up. Sometimes I'm at the gym in the sauna and I am just
Hmm.
sitting there and I'm just texting myself,
Hmm.
everything. And then from there, I'll email it and clean it up from there. But mostly it is going to start out either I am going to do a voice recording. And if I don't have my recorder with me, then I'll use my recorder on my phone. I carry two different phones for that exact reason. So I always have my hands on something where I can record or where I can text something out immediately.
Okay, I love that because you have to have that as a writer. It's like you never know when you're gonna get that spark, and you just want to make sure you don't lose it. So I totally can relate to that. I'm a fan of the voice typing tool on Google Docs. Oh my God, I love that so much where it'll dictate for you. Like as you talk and it'll just type it. That saves me so much time with when I have to write my essays and stuff for school. But yeah, I love that. The voice recorder. Hmm. I had one of those a few years ago. Um, but that's cool. I like that. I like that. How long did it take you to write the book?
Gosh, if I take out the time of procrastinating,
Mhm,
because
mhm.
I, at, as a poet, you are sensitive about your stuff. So overall, if I put
Yes.
everything together, it took me about a year and a half to write it.
Okay, yes. I love that you said that you were sensitive about just a year and a half. Okay. I can't remember because I know it was somebody who when I looked at the information that they filled out, it said that they took like a long time to write it. And when I saw it, I don't know if that's you. When I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not alone in my
Yeah,
writing process because I am one of those writers and Black Queen, author Black Queen. I know you're gonna be mad at me, but I have to be like in that moment, for me to write. Um so yeah, I totally understand that when you talk about procrastinating, but for me, I feel like it's just I don't know. Because I'm a perfectionist as well. Do you feel as though you're a perfectionist or is it more so because
absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely. And I have a folder of poems that I've written that are not in this
Mhm,
book that may never
mhm,
see the light of day. I have, I love that you said that for you, your creativity, it comes in that moment. I am
mhm.
like that too. And I'm like, oh, that's great to hear somebody else say that because when I say that with other creative minds, they kind of
Mhm.
look at me and go, no, I carve out 3 hours a day. As I can go sit in the room really quiet.
Yeah.
I have a place where I can sit and nothing will happen. It just, that's not
Mhm.
how my creativity flows. So
Right.
whenever it starts to flow, I ride that wave until whatever
Mhm.
is there is out completely. Even if I am asleep, I've gotten up in the middle of the night when something has
Yeah.
hit and hit that
Yeah.
recorder and I will just
Yeah.
go until it all comes out and I will lay back
Right.
down and only remember bits and pieces of it. But
Yeah.
thankfully, I had that recorder next to the bed and I was
Yeah.
able to capture that entire piece. And again, in that in that realm of being a perfectionist, when you go back and read it, it just
Mhm.
has to land a
Yeah.
certain way. And you know when you read it if it lands well and if
Yeah.
that is the message and if it is the time for that message, it is just like writing a song. You have
Mhm.
a catalog of songs that may not ever see the light of day, but then you have
Mhm.
those that you know for sure, okay, these are winners. This is the season for
Mhm.
this. There's a season
Right.
for everything. So sometimes the ones that we have written, 2 or 3 years ago will surface. It may pop up in the second book. I have no
Mhm.
idea. But in
Right.
this moment, in this season, this collection was the collection that needed to be put together in the order that it is put together, because from the beginning to the end, it actually tells a story. From one
Mhm.
poem to the next, there's a story, and you can visualize what is actually happening. So yeah, I perfectionist, absolutely,
Mhm. Yeah.
absolutely agree with everything you just said.
Yeah, I think there's definitely like team divine creativity and team just what can I call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Oh my god, like dedication or there's two different types. I want to be team dedicated and like the 3 hours, that's not me. It's just it I have to be now when it comes to editing, I feel like that's different. But as far as like getting it out there, like what I'm feeling and how to convey what I'm saying, yeah, that has to be for me just like divine. But advice for authors, aspiring authors. So what would you, and I like to ask this with people who write poetry, because when you're writing poetry, I feel like you're being very vulnerable, because it's heavily based on emotions. I feel like just how I interpret it. What advice would you give to a person who wants to publish? They have, like you said, they have a catalog, a Rolodex of just different poems, but they're afraid to put it out there. What would you tell them?
I would tell you to accept that it is a process. It is a process, and the biggest hurdle in the
Mhm.
way is going to be you. You're going to put a
Yeah.
lot of pressure on yourself for perfection. You're going to put a lot of pressure on yourself to say, well, what if they don't like it? Understand, they don't exist. The they-isms of the world, they do not exist. They
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
whatever we concoct in our minds. Your body of work is your body of work. It is your story, and it is going to touch, it is going to transform, it is going to inspire, it is going to empower the people that it is supposed to touch, empower, and inspire. It is going to do those things. And you have a challenge to make sure that your voice is heard, that your body of work exists in this world, because you have space in this world. So just stand up, take one step forward, and take a hold of what's already yours. There is somebody waiting to hear what you have to say, and the very thing you say will make a world of difference in their life.
And yes, I totally agree with that. It's needed. And we have to just, like you said, get out of our own way. And you'll wish you have done it sooner. But I also am a person who believes that you are where you're supposed to be. So when you're ready, that's when you're ready. I also believe in that. But these interviews I feel like should help you guys. Okay. Hearing from other people, other women who have taken the steps to go after what they wanted to accomplish, and they've done it. And they're sharing their advice, their journey, their work. That should be very inspiring for you all as well. So thank you for that, Miss Mays. I feel like we're at our trivia time. Okay. So we're gonna have you pick a number from 1 through 4. And I don't know why my numbers are not showing. It's okay though. So just pick a number from 1 through 4.
3.
3. Y'all already know. I'm gonna just stare in the camera for a second. 3. Y'all know that's the magic number. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so our iconic question: would you rather only write at 3 a.m. or only with a typewriter?
Oh gosh. 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Okay. Okay. Why did you pick that?
3 a.m. That is okay. That is the third watch of the night. That is the time of the night where God is working and He is speaking,
Mm,
and that is our time. And I can hear
okay.
Him clearly. And in that moment, I don't mind writing whatever it is He has to give me because that is my time and my sacred time. And in that moment, my whole room is my closet, and that's where Him and I dwell.
Okay. Oh my God. That was, see what I'm saying? That was so poetic. Even just to answer this question, guys. That was amazing. I love that. I love that. Okay. 3 a.m. Phew, this has been such a refreshing interview. I love it when the conversations are deep and well thought. I love that. So, what is next? Okay. And by the way, do you have more than one book? Is this your only book?
This is the first book. This is the
Okay.
first of three.
Okay. Okay.
This is the first of three.
So,
So the second book is underway. This book
okay.
can be found on Amazon. It will be on Barnes and Nobles within the next week or two. Um,
Okay.
the second book is indeed underway. It had such a wonderful review from so many
Mm-hmm.
different people, and they are
Yeah.
already asking, is book two going to be out by the end of the year? I was like, oh, girl, wait a minute. I just did this one. Hold on. let,
Yeah.
let me breathe for a second. Let's get this one like really pushed out there. But
Mm-hmm.
there will be a series of three.
Okay. We love that. We love that. We love that. And you said they
And
can get it on Amazon. This copy already, they can get
yes,
it on Amazon.
they can get this on Amazon.
Okay. And we'll definitely have the links in the description for you guys. Um, also, I was gonna say something else. Okay, where can they find you? Like, or like, well, do you have like Twitter or like social media?
Yes, I am on Instagram.
Okay.
Might be kind of hard to find on Instagram. I do have a business Facebook page, so let me preface this by making sure that I put this disclosure out there. On my Instagram page, you will see other things besides the book because I do make clothing. I do make lingerie. So don't be confused. It is just a multi-step of things that I
Hmm.
do. But
Right.
it is indeed me.
Okay.
And so I do have an Instagram and I do have a, Facebook page as well.
Okay, we love
And
that. We love that. Okay. Well, this has been an amazing interview. Definitely, when you get the other two, you're welcome to stop by and let us know about that. Okay. You guys definitely go to Amazon, check out Erotic Sapiosexual, Suppressed Desires of a Woman. Make sure you guys leave a review. Okay. Reviews are gold for authors. Okay. Do your also do what do they call those, like the reels reviews, all that kind of stuff, guys. Talk about the books, book talk. um well, Miss MJ Mays, we thank you so much for stopping by and talking to us about your book. You're welcome back anytime.
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I have enjoyed our time together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Author Interviews. I'm your host, Sai, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.